about to get real. I'm going to get a little bit raw. It may get a little bit heavy, but we're gonna have some real mom talk. I want to invite you into my process. Life isn't always rainbows and butterflies and unicorns and fluffy things. I haven't arrived anywhere, but come along with me, process with me along my journey. I'm sure that you could relate. I hope this blesses you. Stick around. My name is Kristen. Welcome here to my channel called Fearlessly Loved, where I talk about all things homeschooling, family, and faith, and where I hope to impart life to you. I want to be an encouragement to you, whether you are a homeschooling mom or whether you're curious about homeschooling or not interested in homeschooling at all, but you are in a season of motherhood. I hope to encourage you. If you enjoy my videos, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to let you know when I put more content out there. Feel free, you are welcome here. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your heart. I'd love to hear where you're at in your process. I want to invite you on this journey with me. So, like I said, life isn't always rainbows and butterflies. I am going through a season of upheaval. I think the upheaval actually happened last year. You know, everything kind of imploded everywhere, all spaces and relationships and just different things that were happening around me. My family was uprooted. We took like a 180 turn geographically. We moved back home, basically. And there were a lot of unknowns. There was a lot of like messiness that happened. And I felt like my world just kind of just turned upside down in a very short amount of time. And I spent a good amount of last year, probably all last year, in grief. So I'm on the other side of that. I have found myself in this place where like God rescued my family. God rescued my husband and I, my daughter. If you're new here, I have a daughter. This is our second year homeschooling. She is in second grade. She's 7 years old. So he rescued us, took us from one place, called us to another, and restored and redeemed certain situations. You know, when it came to relationships and friendships, there was so much redemption in that area of friendship. There's so much redemption in the area of like purpose and what he's placing before us, provision and opportunities and just people, family, and just all these amazing things. Like life is amazing, but then at the same time, I am a complete and utter mess inside. I'm a mess. Inside, everything is just like knotted up and like unraveling, and just connections are in faulty places. Like my mind is jumbled. My heart is, messed up, stony, and it wasn't making sense to me. I've been trying to push forward, trying to move forward. There have been these walls that I keep hitting up against, and just these lifelong battles, lifelong insecurities, lifelong like torment, lifelong like, the thoughts and the projections, and just this, we have these things. It's different for everyone. Everyone deals with that baggage or that emotional baggage in different ways. For me, it's just a lot of negativity that comes in my head about how terrible I am, or, that condemnation, the spirit of condemnation, or those words of rejection, or, I can't do anything. I'm not good at this and that. And, whatever it is for you, the shame, it's been so amplified for me. And God has been calling me. He's been calling me into his secret place. You know, from Psalm 91, he who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will find rest in the shadow of the Almighty God. This I declare about the Lord. He is my refuge. He is my fortress in whom I trust. And that verse, I mean, that has been my verse over the past 5 or so years. But again, like the Lord just started to just put this verse like at the forefront of my head, of my heart. God just started to speak to me so gently and lovingly, like he always does. Like, Kristen, first of all, I love you. I love you. And I am here for you. I am proud of you. There's so much grace for you. You are beautiful. You know, all these things that the Lord speaks to us, and, you know, all those things that I just spoke, those words are for you too. And he just started just speaking so lovingly to me. And he was just like, Kristen, just get in my presence. Leave things aside. Just get still again with me. Come into the secret place. Come into the secret place. Dwell, abide, live in the secret place. He started showing me that everything that happened to me last year, everything that went down, is an opportunity. It was an opportunity that he placed before me, not that he caused these bad things to happen. We're all fallen, people make choices, and he started showing me that these particular things that I went through last year are the very things that I went through as a child. You know, we all go through these traumas, whether they're seemingly not that bad of circumstances or whether they're horrendous circumstances. We all go through trauma in our childhood. And us as kids, like, if we don't have that covering, if we don't have, that like covering of prayer, if we don't have parents who know truth, who are like solid, standing on the solid rock of Christ, and who know truth and are speaking truth to their kids, like it leaves kids just on their own to have to process through really hard things on their own. And with the same questions that adults have and that adults can't answer. Why is this happening? Why did this happen to me? And who am I? Am I even of value? Am I of value? Am I loved? And as kids, we're forced to put up defenses. We're forced to, cover our own selves because we don't know the truth. We don't know the love of Jesus. We don't know that we're safe under the shadow of the Most High. And we're forced to, these like mental blocks happen in our mind, in our hearts, become, hardened a little bit more and more as, more happens to us. And we start to form these lies, and these lies that we question become more and more solidified. So I started to look back on little girl Kristen and where the breakdown started with me. For me, it was middle school. How many of y'all like experienced middle school like I did? Like, middle school is rough. What a god awful time in life, right? Typically speaking. And I just like went from the most confident, just really saw myself in a really good light, just really felt so capable, was really good at so many things. as a little girl. And then I went from that to like hating myself in a course of a couple years. So going back to what I was sharing about, last year and the things that happened to me, God gave those same things that I dealt with last year were the very things that I dealt with as a child. Like those same kind of relationship things, those same feelings, that same rejection, the betrayals, the, not being heard or not being misunderstood, and all of that through the years. I knew that I had like demons, so to speak. I knew that I was tormented by thoughts and things, and had anxieties and had fears and had, areas that I needed healing in. But it was a lot of it was under the surface, and I was just walking on the earth like with all kinds of bandages, all wounded and just bandaged up everywhere, and functioning and okay, like I was okay. I was getting through life. God walking me through and, doing miracles and under God's protection and God's favor, under his covering. But wow, God was like, no more Band-Aids for you, Kristen, no more, like they were great. They were great for you up until this point, but it's time. It's time to take all these Band-Aids off. It's time for those wounds to be exposed. And, it's time to really be patched up. And as a child, these feelings and these ways, these defenses that you took on, these patterns that you developed in your mind and in your heart, it's time for you to reframe. It's time for you to have a new perspective, the right perspective, because this Kristen, this person, this identity that you're living in is not you, is not how I created you. This is not who you are. This is the Kristen who is functioning, believing the lies that you believed as a child. And this is the Kristen that's using the defenses that you're just habitually using to feel safe and protected, but you don't need it anymore. You don't need those defenses anymore. You don't need those blankets anymore. I have a blanket for you. There is safety. There is safety under the shelter of my wings. Everything that you could ever want, all the safety and protection that you ever need is under my covering. You are safe. You are safe. You are safe. So that's what he's speaking to me today. And I just had this incredible woman of God just prayed the most powerful, mind-blowing prayer over me, just prophetic, speaking directly into, just saying things that she would never know. She's not someone who's super close to me at all. And she just started, it was God just speaking through her love and the love of the Father, and speaking to that little girl. And, she's the one, like God was already bringing this childhood stuff up in me, and she started praying about like little girl Kristen, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my mind is blown up. I mean, I was waterworks for sure, that whole prayer. And she was saying, like, it's time for you to start speaking to that little girl Kristen and telling her that she is safe. She is safe. She is safe. And so here I am, like I said, this is a process of healing, and I'm journeying my way through it. Fearlessly loved, I'm starting to see God is really, really showing me that I have been living my life believing that I am fearfully unlovable. That is how I've been living my life, believing that I am fearfully unlovable. And God's like, no more, no more. You are going to believe the truth of who I am. You are going to start believing the truth of who I created you to be and who you are, who your identity is in me. And it feels like a mountain or two or three to climb over or to be removed. He's the one that's going to remove this mountain. It feels impossible because I've been trying to move this mountain myself. I've been praying for it. I've been rebuking it. I've been doing everything I possibly can do. I've been stepping out in faith in certain things, and it is just not budging. And God's just like, now's the time. Now's the time for this mountain to move, and it's going to be a process, and it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be healing. And it's going to be, you're going to write it, you're going to speak it, and it's going to bless others. So this is where I'm at. I hope that you could relate to some of this. I imagine that there are a lot of people out there who are in the same place as me. Maybe not, probably not going through the same things or the same issues or the same insecurities, but I believe that these words and, these words spoken, everything that I shared about God speaking to me about and who I am, who he sees me, that's who you are. That's who you are. You are a daughter of God. You are loved. You are, there's so much baggage that you probably carry, and he just wants to take it. He wants to take it. If you're not at peace, if you have struggles, if you have insecurities, if you feel like there's areas of your life where you're so paralyzed and you're so just caged and imprisoned, he wants freedom for you. We are not called to live paralyzed. He came to set the captives free. He came to heal and restore. He came to give us healing in this life, physical healing, mind, body, soul, spirit, not just in the life to come, but in this life. It's by his stripes we are healed. And I am so convinced of that we are called to be functioning as whole, powerful in him, women of God, bringing light to this earth, speaking life into our children, into the generations. They are the generations that will be, the light of the world, and they will be transforming the world, and they will be moving in miraculous ways. And, it's up to us to, as especially homeschooling moms, we are with them and we are forming them, and they see us. They see what we're going through. And, as long as they see our hearts for Jesus, they see our worship and our love for Jesus. We don't have to be perfect. We know that we are nowhere near perfect. Most of us know that. Sometimes we're a mess, but they see our tenacity, and they see our fight. They see our weapons. They see our weapons that we use to fight the enemy. The worship, the prayer, the, taking steps forward in faith. So when it comes to fearlessly loved, I believe that God is taking me from fearfully unlovable to fearlessly loved. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you related to this in any way. I hope to see you in the next video.